25 ways coffee is enjoyed around the world. Understanding the different types of coffee goes far beyond which brand you buy or how dark the bean was roasted. As this essential beverage has spread around the world, countless ways of making and serving it has been developed. From the traditional to the modern, here are ways coffee is prepared and enjoyed in different countries. Buna, Ethiopia. The historic origin of coffee itself go back to Ethiopia, where the coffee preparation and consumption is still an important social ritual. In the Ethiopian coffee ceremony, Buna, Amharic for coffee, is processed according to the procedure that takes 2 or 3 hours. It's traditionally performed in the home up to 3 times per day, and for important occasion to welcome guests, beans are roasted and ground by hand before being blended with water and poured from the spouted vessel in a long stream. Ethiopian coffee is usually drank black, sometimes with sugar, and may be flavored with spices or with salt, honey, or butter. Espresso, Italy. In Italy, espresso is the most popular coffee, often referred to simply as cafe, and served during the day and after meals. Unlike milk coffee drinks, which are consumed only at breakfast, for a higher price, you can enjoy your espresso at a table with a pastry, but Italians often drink theirs in a few sips while standing at the bar. All coffee is made from Arabica or Robusta beans, but it's processing that makes espresso taste different. Compared with most coffee, espresso is roasted longer, ground more finely, and steeped longer. Longer roasting time releases more of the coffee natural oils, giving espresso a richer flavor and creating a layer of foam on top known as crema. The longer steeping time is due to the extra fine grounds which slow down the passage of water. Melange, Austria. The coffee house of Vienna served dozens of drinks that combined coffee with dairy, chocolate, liquor, and other ingredients, but the most typical choice is the melange, made from coffee, milk, and milk foam. Italy cappuccino is similar but uses only espresso and milk foam, while Italians consider cappuccino and other milk coffee drinks to be morning beverages. Austrians enjoy melange at any time of the day. French Café Venus and English Venice Cafe do not refer to the melange but to espresso topped with whipped cream. In Austria, this is called Fränzchen because the pale brown color resembles the Fränzchen monk robe, similar to how the cappuccino was named for the robes of Capuchin monks. Kaffeehaus, Scandinavia. In the northern parts of Finland, Sweden, and Norway, cheese is placed at the bottom of the mug, traditionally one carved out of birch wood. Hot coffee is poured over the cheese and drinks can choose to spoon out the pottery melted coffee-soaked cheese as they enjoy their drink, or save it until the end. The specific cheese used for the delicacy is lightly sweet and has a firm, dense texture similar to the Greek halloumi. Its Finnish name, Joutilauppa, means bread cheese, not only from the cheese appearance and texture but from its being used like wheat bread, especially in Arctic where wheat was hard to come by. It can also be toasted and spread with jam. Café Touba, Senegal. Senegalese Café Touba gets its earthly peppery flavors from the African spice called diar and sometimes other spices like clove and cardamom. These are roasted and ground in a ratio about 1 part spices to 4 part coffee. Named from the only city of Touba and originally consumed by scholars, Café Touba has become popular throughout Senegal and is even purported to have health benefits. At local snack stands called Tengonas, street vendors prepare the coffee from start to finish, pouring it back and forth between containers to generate it and selling it to small cups. Nitro Cold Brew, USA. Iced coffee is typically brewed hot, but soaking coffee grounds in cold water for a longer period of time, 12 to 24 hours, produces cold brew, a milder, less acidic beverage with a flavor that doesn't change as much over the time. When the cold brew is infused with the nitrogen gas, the tiny bubbles give it a velvety texture and a foamy head, similar to beers like Guinness. Nitro Cold Brew was invented in 2013 and originally sold by Stockton Coffee Roasters, but after Starbucks started offering it around 2016, it swiftly became one of the chain's most popular drinks. Its processing makes it expensive, but you can make Nitro Cold Brew at home relatively easily using a whipped cream dispenser with cartridges of nitrogen. Cafezinho, Brazil. In Brazil, the cafezinho region supreme as the preferred way to enjoy the beverage. Synonymous with hospitality, cafezinho literally means a little coffee and is similar to standard coffee preparation in other Latin American countries such as Cuba and Colombia. Finally, ground coffee is added directly to the pot of boiling water, in which unrefined cane sugar known as panela or rapadura has been dissolved. Once the coffee brews, it is filtered through paper or more traditional cloth and served. Cafezina is brewed strong and commonly served black, but some people add a bit of cream or milk. Café de Olla, Mexico. But what makes Mexico coffee most distinctive is how it's brewed. In a traditional earthenware pot known as an olla, like many other cafes, Café de Olla is brewed with warm roasted spices such as cinnamon and cloves, and sometimes with chocolate, as unrefined sugar called piloncillo is used to sweeten the coffee. Brown sugar and molasses can be used as a substitute. Some trace the origin of Café de Olla to the big earthenware crock of coffee brewed for soldiers during the Mexican Revolution. It may also be flavored with orange peel and even combined with alcohol. Turkavisi. In Turkey, both tea and coffee are popular beverages, but while the tea is enjoyed all day, coffee is served in the afternoon or following a large meal. The drink is brewed individually in the special kettle called a chiziv. Turkish coffee relies in extra finely powdered coffee beans, which result in the different flavor than espresso. Another key difference is that the Turkish coffee is made by boiling ground in a specialized boiler over a heated sand, whereas espresso is made by forcing heated water through the grounds. Turkey coffee is unfiltered, so the ground must be allowed to be settled before the thick coffee can be drunk, and there is custom of reading the fortune of drinkers in the ground on the bottom of the cup. It may be enhanced with spices of sugar and is typically served alongside water and or sweet treat. Filter coffee. India. While North Indians prefer tea, South Indians have traditionally favored coffee. South India's shade-grown coffee beans are dark roasted and often mixed with chicory root. The concentrated beverage made from them may be mixed with milk, cream, and sugar, and it is known as a filter coffee because of the unique double complement brewed used to make it. India is one of the world's largest producer of coffee today, but the majority of it still produced in the country's south. Filter coffee remains a regional specialty in India until the 1950s, when the chain called India Coffee House introduced it to the rest of the country. Coffee Sueda, Vietnam. Today, Vietnam is one of the world's largest exporter of coffee, but coffee was first introduced in the 19th century during French colonial rule, when French coffee drinkers lacking access to fresh dairy started using tinned condensed milk in their café au lait. The result was the sweet, refreshing drink that English-speaking call Vietnamese coffee. Café soda is Vietnamese, which literally means iced coffee with milk. It's traditionally brewed with a single serving press called a pine, which drips the coffee into condensed milk at the bottom of the glass, after which the mixture is stirred and poured over ice. Both fresh and condensed milk are used in a variation called baksoy. Kopi Josh, Indonesia. To make Kopi Josh, a piece of burning wood charcoal is plunged into iced coffee. Kopi means coffee, but Josh is said to come with the hissing of charcoal as it sputters into the liquid. In addition to a smoky flavor, some proponents of Kopi Josh claim that the charcoal adds health benefits to the drink, like neutralizing the coffee acidity to make it easier on the stomach. Kopi Josh is a specialty of the city of Yogyakarta in Indonesia, coffee-producing island of Java, invented in the 1960s by a street vendor known as Mr. Man. Xuanzong, Hong Kong. Xuanzong is a Cantonese name for the colorful bird known in English as a Mediterranean duck. This drink may have gotten its name from the duck's association with marriage and fidelity, because Xuanzong is a harmonious marriage of two beverages, coffee and tea, a blend of Eastern and Western culture elements that merged in the 20th century during British colonial rule of Hong Kong. Xuanzong can be found in the tea houses throughout Hong Kong today. A Hong Kong cafe called Lon Fong Jon claimed to have invented the drink in 1952, using 3 parts coffee to 7 parts milk tea, but the exact ratio varies. Café Lagrima, Argentina. Lower quality cheap coffee imported from neighboring Brazil was once the main coffee available in Argentina, including coffee made using the truncado process, in which inferior beans are roasted with burnt sugar to disguise their flavor. Beverages like the Cafe Lagrima originated as a way of balancing and concealing the bitter flavor of low-quality coffee. Lagrima is Spanish for tear, and Argentina Cafe Lagrima consists of single dark teardrop of espresso added unmixed to the glass of warm milk. Considering the breakfast beverages, Cafe Lagrima is generally made with plain, unfiltered milk in a ratio of 9-part milk to 1-part coffee. Mesa Grande, Portugal. Sour, bitter and sweet flavors come together in the Portugalish Mesa Grande, an iced mixture of coffee and espresso, water and lemon juice. It may be slightly sweetened and spiked with rum. Mesa Grande takes its name from the Algerian town and is said to have been invented by a French soldier in Algeria in the 1830s and 40s. Unable to mix coffee with milk or brandy due to rationing, the soldier began drinking the coffee with water and later brought this custom back to Paris. Even as Mesa Grande popularity faded in Paris, it spread to other parts of Europe and different countries added their own spin, including Portugal's coffee lemonade. Flat white, Australia and New Zealand. Both Australia and New Zealand claim to have invented the flat white, which consists of steamed milk poured over espresso or ristretto, which is similar to espresso but brewed for less time and with less water, resulting in milder flavor. Larger than a tiny cortado and less foamy than the cappuccino, compared with the latte, a flat white is creamier and less bitter because of the steamed milk. And ristretto, recently a variation called Magic Coffee has popped up in Melbourne, named for its supposedly containing the perfect magical ratio of coffee to milk. Magic Coffee is served in the 5-ounce cup rather than the 6-ounce typically used for a flat white. Irish coffee, Ireland. Irish coffee begins with a mixture of Irish whiskey, coffee and sugar. Sugar syrup is recommended over other forms of sugar because it dissolves faster and allows more room for other ingredients. Double cream is carefully poured on top of foam to a distinct layer and the coffee whiskey mixture is sipped through the cream. It's called Highland coffee, which made with Scotch whiskey and or a Kentucky coffee when made with bourbon. There are so many foods with misleading geographical names that you might be surprising to learn that Irish coffee really was invented in Ireland in 1943. The cocktail attracted international attention in the early 1950s when the Buena Vista Hotel in San Francisco became the first establishment to sell Irish coffee in the US. Frappe, Greece. The milkshake like Frappuccino, common in the US at chains like Starbucks, is made by blending coffee, milk, ice and flavored syrups. But don't confuse this beverage with a similarly named frappe, which is more popular as a summertime beverage in Europe, especially in Greece where it originated. Unlike the Frappuccino, the frappe may or may not include milk and usually has an additional flavoring. The base is a foamy mix of sugar and instant coffee, which whips the froth similar to Dalgona coffee, in which variation this foam is blended with the ice. But the original frappe was made by pouring a coffee foam over ice cubes. Frappe is said to have been invented in the trade show in Thessaloniki, Greece in 1957 by Nescafe salesman who added instant coffee and ice of this shaker meant for the children's chocolate drink. Oolong, Thailand. In Cochin Chinese, oolong means black and ice, which is how the Thai coffee with Chinese origin is typically enjoyed. Oolong, deep smoky, almost burnt flavor, came from the other ingredient roasted and ground with the coffee beans. These may include sesame seeds, soya beans, corn and ice, as well as spices like cardamom. Often sold as a powder, oolong may be with sugar into the coffee syrup that can be easily combined with water or milk. The ice to make drink. Thai iced coffee may also be prepared using thang dom, a distinctive filter with an elongated cloth bag nicknamed the coffee sock. Java, Arab countries. Kava is traditionally made using a tripered coffee pot called Dilla, which can vary in design depending on which country it comes from. Different countries also favor different roasting levels, with southeastern Arab countries producing the lightest, such as Yemen's white coffee. Kava may be roasted and ground with spices, but spices are also added to lava as a coffee brews, especially cardamom. As Arab merchants helped spread coffee to the world in the 15th and 16th century, An elaborate custom of serving coffee to guests is developed similar to practices in Turkey and Ethiopia. The dilava is used to pour the dark dye-infused coffee into small cups without handles called finjals. Café Bombón, Spain. Popularized in Valencia, Spain, the coffee preparation may have been influenced by similar drinks in Southern Asia. Aside from Vietnamese coffee, Singaporean and Malaysian kopi sui panas and Thai coffee ron are made in much the same way but using ground coffee instead of espresso. Like Vietnamese coffee, condensed milk is an essential ingredient in Spain's Café Bombón, which is made from equal parts of condensed milk and espresso. Café Bombón is mixed before using drunk, but it's served unmixed in the small and clear glass so that its contrasting layer create a striking visual effect. Dark espresso on top of the white condensed milk, sometimes with the third pale brown layer at very top from the espresso natural crema. Café au lait, France. Though originally France, Café au lait is popular throughout Europe, with different countries having their own variation. In the Netherlands, it's always served with the cookie and made with equal part coffee and milk, earning the local name for it wrong coffee because it contains more milk than Dutch-style coffee drinks. The combination of drip coffee with heated milk sets the Café au lait apart from similar drinks like the Café latte, made with espresso and milk, or the Italian cappuccino and Australian Milan, made with milk foam. Depending on the equipment heating, the milk will create a macro foam that provides a velvety texture. Heating also increases the solubility of the milk sugar, making it slightly sweeter. Freezer, Germany. Hailing from Freisa is in northern Germany, the Freisa is a hot cocktail made with coffee, rum, and sugar topped with spoonful of whipped cream. Like an Irish coffee, the Freisa is not stirred or mixed but sipped through the layer of coffee floating on top. The drink's biblical name meaning Freisa used to the German slang for the hypocrite, and legend claims that the Freisa was invented at the party to disguise that guest was drinking alcohol. A variation made with hot chocolate instead of coffee has an equally colorful name, Teto Tante, meaning dead aunt. White coffee, Yemen. Around the world there are several types of coffee known as white, such as Malaysian Ipoh white coffee, made with beans that have been roasted in margarine. In Yemen, white coffee refers to another distinctive roasting process, whereas coffee beans are usually roasted at the temperature between 450 degrees Fahrenheit to 480 degrees Fahrenheit. White coffee beans are roasted at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about half the time. The result is a pale beige bean that is too hard to grind with typical at-home coffee grinders. So it's often sold pre-ground and may also be mixed with local spice blend called Hawaii. Compared with darker roast, white coffee has a milder, less bitter flavor, more of a certain nutrients, and according to some, more caffeine. These are some of the most popular coffee drinks around the world. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comment section.